Everyone thinks a 2400-watt power station is overkill for everyday use, but here's the thing. The Allpowers S2000 Pro portable power station might actually be the most practical sub-$1000 backup you can buy because it delivers big inverter performance without the big brand price tag. I went in skeptical. Bold claims, flashy specs, and a 4.2 Amazon rating can hide issues. But after 3 weeks of camping, garage projects, and a simulated home outage, I found some surprises, good and bad. And one result completely changed how I look at power stations in this class. Stick with me, because the headline numbers don't tell the whole story. The real story is how it behaves under real loads. Before we dive into what I discovered, quick heads up. If you're already leaning toward the S2000 Pro and want the best current price, I've linked it below. But keep watching, because a couple of test results might save you money or headaches depending on how you plan to use it. Here's why I needed something like this. Last fall, a storm knocked out my neighborhood for 9 hours. My cheap 500-watt battery bank kept phones alive, but the fridge, dead food, annoyed family, expensive waste. Then came a string of weekend camping trips where I needed to run a 12V fridge, camera batteries, and an air pump without juggling power bricks. I tried 2 mid-range units before. One choked on a hairdryer, the other whined like a jet and took forever to charge. So when I saw the Allpowers Pro boasting 2400W continuous, 4000W surge, dual 100W USB-C, and 4 AC outlets for under $900, I rolled my eyes and ordered it anyway. If it could run the kitchen essentials and recharge fast, I'd be sold. If not, it would join the graveyard of hopeful gadgets in my garage. First test, kitchen reality check. I plugged in a 1500W space heater to stress the inverter. The S2000 Pro ramped to 1490-1520W steady, no scary voltage dip, and the fan noise was noticeable but not obnoxious. Runtime with that constant load, just under 45 minutes in my test before hitting the lower reserve, exactly what I expect once you account for inverter losses. So the 2400W claim is not fluff. But then I stacked a hair dryer on top for a few seconds to simulate a nasty startup surge. I saw a brief spike past 1800W and the unit held without tripping. That 4000W surge capability isn't marketing, it's functional. Second test, the Fridge End Essentials outage drill. I ran a full-size fridge cycling around 6120W with peaks over 800W when the compressor kicked, plus a Wi-Fi router and LED lamps. Overnight, about 12 hours later, I still had roughly a third of the battery showing. In round 2, I added a microwave for 2 short 90-second runs at about 1100W. It handled it fine. But here's where it gets interesting. When I pushed the fridge plus a 700W rice cooker at the same time, the display showed around 780W total, and the fan noise ticked up to roughly mid-50s dB at 1 meter by my meter app. Still living room acceptable, but not stealthy. Third test, creator camp setup. 2 laptops pulling 6090W each via the dual 100W USB-C ports, a 12V fridge at 45W average on the carport, and camera chargers on the QC 3.0 USB-A. Total draw hovered between 190 and 260W under a partly cloudy sky. A 400W folding panel array fed between 240 and 360W midday, so I could net positive charge while working. But then a cloud bank rolled in, input dropped under 100W, and I appreciated that the S2000 Pro didn't constantly hunt or reset. It kept a stable DC output without flicker. Fourth test. AC recharge speed and heat. From about 20% to 80% took roughly an hour with wall charging in my setup, and to near full in under 2. The chassis got warm but never hot to the touch, and the fan curve seemed sensible. The display is bright indoors, a little washed in direct sun, and the port layout makes sense. 4 pure sine AC outlets, 4 USB-A, 2 USB-C 100W, and a 13V10A carport. One quirk, the carry handle is fine for short carries, but at what feels like 30+ pounds, you won't want to lug it across a campsite repeatedly. Here's the revelation that shifted my opinion. I expected the S2000 Pro to be all bark, no bite, a big inverter slapped on a middling battery. Instead, it consistently delivered clean power at high draw while also being genuinely useful at low draw, where a lot of budget units waste energy. My low-load overnight draw numbers were better than I expected, suggesting decent inverter efficiency and idle consumption control. I put in the time, 3 weekends, multiple charge cycles, and head-to-head moments against more expensive rivals in my studio. Compared to pricier units from the usual suspects, the Allpowers gave me nearly the same appliance compatibility for hundreds less. It is not the lightest, it's not the quietest. And it isn't expandable, so if you need days of backup, you should look at larger, modular systems. But for under $900, I paid $818.90 at the time of filming. The price to performance is kind of the point. Is it too good to be true? The 4.2-star average on Amazon lines up with what I found. Strong power delivery and ports, a solid app and control experience, but occasional nitpicks around fan noise under heavy load, the sun readability of the screen, and the heft. If you need seamless UPS transfer for mission-critical desktops, I wouldn't rely on pass-through unless you test your specific setup. Transfer time on many units in this class can cause a brief flicker. For most home and camping tasks, though, it's more capable than the spec sheet implied once I lived with it. Now that you know it punches above its price, the next step is timing. These jump in and out of promo and stock swings around storm season. If it fits your use case, grab it while the price is down. I've put my best current link in the description so you don't overpay. Bottom line. The Allpowers S2000 Pro portable power station is a value workhorse. If you want a single box that can run real appliances, coffee maker, microwave, air fryer, hair dryer, plus charge laptops off dual 100W USB-C, this delivers without the premium brand tax. Buy it if you need serious wattage and a sub $1,000 budget for outages, weekend trips, or job site tools. Skip it if you need whisper quiet operation under heavy load, expandable capacity for multi-day blackouts, or rack-mounted home integration. For most people, most of the time, this is the practical sweet spot. Bottom line, ignore the hype and the hate, judge it by what it can actually power, and this one powers a lot for the money.